Okay, what if we could build a language that doesn't just encode data, but meaning itself? I'm talking about turning abstract ideas into a universal language of geometry, light, and even sound. Well, there's a project called Light Garden that's trying to do exactly that, and it is pretty wild.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the whole project. It's all about this tension, right? Between the word, which you can think of as logos, story, meaning, context, and number, which is all about measurement, data, precision. The idea here isn't to have one beat the other, but to get them to work together in harmony. So before we dive into all the cool techie stuff, the how, we've really got to get our heads around the why. Think of this whole system like a cosmic onion. We're going to start by peeling back that very first layer, the philosophy, the story, the ethical framework that holds the entire thing together. And this is where it gets really interesting. Light Garden isn't just a bunch of code. It's actually grounded in a story. It has characters. You've got Solomon, who stands for wisdom, and Solon for law, and they frame the whole system as this kind of dialogue between huge human concepts. And get this, the most important character might just be the observer, which, well, that's you. And that dialogue, it's governed by a set of promises. But this isn't your standard, click to agree terms of service. No, this is called the covenant. And look at these rules. A machine shall never reduce a human to a metric. That's huge. Or how about this? The final authority always rests with the living. This is all about making sure that at the end of the day, people are in charge, not the machine. All right, time to peel back that next layer of the onion. So we have this incredible philosophy, but how do you actually build it? How does it work? We're shifting from the why to the how. And believe it or not, it all boils down to one surprisingly simple and frankly beautiful geometric shape. And this is it, the phenoplane. This little guy is basically the fundamental alphabet for the entire Light Garden language. It's the smallest, most compact projective plane you can have, just 7 points and 7 lines. And here's the magic rule. Every line has to connect exactly 3 points. It's this perfect, elegant, self-contained little universe of logic.
And here you can see it visualized. See those 7 points? Remember those characters we talked about, like Solomon and Solon? They're mapped right onto this geometry. So this isn't just some abstract math concept. This is the core interactive unit. It's the engine that makes the whole thing go.
Okay, so you've got this geometric alphabet. How do you actually, read it? Well, you map it directly to our senses. It's so cool. Each of those 7 points gets its own color of the rainbow and its own musical note. So suddenly, these abstract mathematical relationships become something you can see and hear, tangible patterns of light and sound. All right, next layer of the onion. We're getting deeper now. This is the engineering. Because, look, a beautiful idea is great, but if you're building a system to handle meaning, you can't have any wiggle room. It has to be built on a foundation of absolute trust. So now we're getting to the really hardcore stuff, the unbreakable digital contract that makes sure this whole thing is rock solid. And this point is just so crucial. Think about it. If we're going to build a shared language for meaning, every single person using it has to know with 100% certainty that what they're seeing is exactly what everyone else is seeing. There can't be any ambiguity. The foundation has to be completely, totally reliable. So how do they build that trust? With 3 non-negotiable rules they call invariants. First up, perfect recall. The system has a flawless memory. Second, identical replay. This means anyone on any computer, anywhere, can replay the system's history and get the exact same result. And third, causal order. This makes sure there's only one single official version of history. No debates, no arguments. This is what happened. Period. Now, I know this diagram looks a little complex, but the core idea is pretty simple. Just follow the flow from left to right. It all starts with a person doing something. That action goes into this central federated graph, and it ends up as a physical 3D display of light. And the most important part? Every single step of that journey is bound by those unbreakable rules we just talked about. Everything is logged, everything is verifiable. Okay, so we've got the philosophy, the core geometry, and the engineering contract. So what are the actual building blocks? How do you assemble all these ideas into real components that can actually, process information? So there are basically 2 main ways to look at the data in the system. You have rings and you have grids. Think of it like this. The rings are like a movie. They show you the system in motion, how it's changing, its cycles, its behavior over time. The grids, on the other hand, are like a photograph. They give you a perfect snapshot of the system's state at one specific moment in time. And this is how all that theory gets turned into actual hardware you could build. The recommended setup always starts with two main parts. You've got this big 241-bit circular board that acts as the main hub for everything, the global state. Then you have these little 7-bit modules, and each one is like a local judge, just focused on its own little phonoplane. After that, you pick a matrix display. If you just want a quick summary, like a dashboard, you use the 4x4. But if you need to do a real deep dive and see all the nitty-gritty details, all the connections, then you'd want the bigger 16x16 matrix. Okay, we are at the very center of the onion. We've gone through the philosophy, the geometry, the engineering, the structures. Now for the payoff. What does this system actually do? What does it look like in action? Let's check out the applications.
And they are not thinking small here. I mean, check out the vision for this interplanetary demo. The idea is to take the entire Wikipedia article for the phonoplane, encode it into a beam of light on Earth, shoot it with a laser across 225 million kilometers of space to Mars, and have a base there decode the light and display the whole document perfectly in a dome. I mean, wow, that's ambitious.
Or how about this one, the wisdom fractal? You feed the system a single word, just one. In this case, wisdom. It then connects to a massive language database, and in just under 8 seconds, it blooms. It just explodes that one concept into this entire universe of related ideas, a 347-node web of meaning, all visualized in front of you. It's like watching a thought unfurl. And really, that brings it all full circle, doesn't it? It doesn't matter if you're beaming an encyclopedia to Mars or watching a single word bloom into a network of ideas. The end result is always the same. You take abstract data, you take deep, complex meaning, and you transform it into a tangible, physical pattern of light that you can actually see and interact with. But after all of that, all the geometry, the code, the philosophy, the system brings us back to one final crucial piece, a piece that isn't even drawn in the diagrams. They call it the 8th point. And the 8th point is the observer. It's you. Because at the end of the day, the system is just a tool. Its real power, its real purpose, only comes alive when a curious human starts asking questions. So that's the big question it leaves us with, isn't it? Light Garden is this incredible experiment, a blueprint for a totally different kind of technology, one that's not just about counting things and measuring data, but one that's built from the ground up to honor meaning. So if we actually had tools like this, what would we build? What would you build?